Hey, I don't know if you can hear me yet, but good evening, Eagle people. This is Brian Tompkins having a well-earned post-clinic non-alcoholic beer because I have to drive home. But cheers, salud, na zdrowie, prost, whatever country you're in. Here's my beer and cheers to you. Now, what are we here for? Well, we're here for me to hopefully give you some ideas about how Eaglet Eye could change your lives. And it's kind of the why, the WHY of specialty contact lenses. And I know the advertisements and the social media was talking about sclerals, but you know, there are more lenses than just sclerals in our portfolio of specialty lenses. And I thought I'd break this down. Now, this works brilliantly in English, even though I say so myself. But if it doesn't work in your country, I'm sure that there will be translations that will help. So W, I think, comes down to who, where, when, and what. So we have the W's going on there. The H is how, have, hope, and happy. We like happy. And the Y is you, your, and yes. Now, English with the apostrophe is a bit of a nightmare. So your is you are, but it's still your in my book. So these are the kind of words we're going to go down and play with. And the W first is the who. Who is going to fit specialty lenses? Well, you. If you're not interested, why are you sitting here wasting your time listening to an old man in England talking about specialty lenses? So you are going to do the fitting of these specialty lenses. And your patients, because they would have a big poster on their forehead saying, we want you. We want you to fit us with a lens because we have such desperately poor vision or pain factors that need specialty lenses to help. And where would you fit them? Well, I think this is pan-European, but I also know it could go global. I'm very happy to be out there. So you fit them in your country, and maybe you're the only one in your country that does fit specialty lenses. You could fit them in your city because you may be the only one in your city that fits a specialty lens, or 100% in your practice. Please, from now on, never call it a store. We are clinicians. We have a practice which allows us to practice optometry with excellence. We are not just salespeople. Where else do you have specialty lenses? Well, you have to have them in your head. You have to think of everywhere that they could be of value. And more importantly, you have to have them in your heart. You have to be part of this passionate crew of optometrists and contact lens fitters around the world that want to make their patients happier by fitting specialty lenses. So heart and head. When do you fit them? Well, to be honest, when the eye is broken, when there is a need, when it is the best and possibly often the only option for the patient. And it is ideally done when you are educated to the best degree, when you have the knowledge of how to fit the lenses. And you'll notice what, where, when, how, etc. come into the conversation a lot because these are the questing words. So educate yourselves. Hey, guess what? Because we have enormously brilliant practitioners coming after me, Daddy and Kian, then obviously you are going to be educated enormously brilliantly tonight. So listen to the old guy for a bit and then go on to the clever clinicians. And what contact lens is deemed a speciality? I mean, we're here for a contact lens meeting. It's here to talk about how we've worked with contact lenses. But what actually constitutes a specialty lens? Well, you may be surprised to learn that there are many different formats of specialty, including daily disposables. Some of them are especially clever in how they work with some of the more challenging dry eye situations or some of the vision capabilities. Reusables, of course, have been around for so long that we use them all the time, but there are bespoke capabilities with reusables. RGP, how could we not forget what Efron said, Nathan bless him, but he's wrong about RGPs disappearing. RGPs are one of our most favorite lenses to be utilized. And hybrids, a new, clever, comfortable RGP with great vision and great comfort. But of course, what isn't a hot topic at the moment is sclerals. I mean, these put a fire in your heart on how you can make the fitting for that patient even better. What makes polymers and things happen in dailies and disposables? Now, there are more options out there than these, but I just picked these off the top of my head to enhance the comfort of dry eye patients. We've had many of our very clever specialty patients come to us, or very challenging specialty patients come to us, and we've sent them out in a daily disposable lens because of either a surface, water gradient, or a clever mucomimetic surface property that allows their dry eye to be far more efficiently dealt with than older lens types, or even going into more complex lenses. So never lose track of a daily disposable, clever modern polymer being used for your specialty patients. Reusable soft, well, kind of now don't use them as much because we want disposability, but the manufacturers are absolutely smart at making the jigsaw of what's needed in the eye, the lid structure, the cornea, all of those factors come together. And reusable soft can be used in many different ways. Often they can be custom made in bespoke ways. They need full data input. Now, you may have noticed that we're kind of twisting round to getting the best information in for the laboratories to get the best contact lens manufacture out. And that term empirical fitting is getting more and more and more utilized in every format of contact lens. We know it based on sclerals, we know it based on RGPs, but don't think that the clever devices out there that have empirical capabilities don't give us more information. Now, RGPs are our traditional bespoke fitting lens. They are made to measure in a way that's important. And we want information about the cornea, but you know, we're getting bigger lenses now because it's more comfortable. We're getting bigger lenses because we're not breaking oxygen levels. So we want more information, not just in the center. The keratometer is a thing of the past. We need that topographer. And if that topographer happens to go out to the limbus or even wider, then even better still. And RGPs with their modern materials, their surface treatments are extremely suited to empirical fitting, that wonderful terminology again that has, I think, grown during the COVID period. And we look at some of the nightmare fits that we might have had in the past and look at how some people survived them, but we would want to improve on this fitting for this keratoconic by doing a better fitting process for this patient. And who isn't in the world of modern myopia management using RGP as an orthokeratology option? This orthokeratology allows the management of myopia, not control, but management of myopia. And I think it is part of our remit now to give them information. Well, there's a kind of device not that far away from me that might well now be offering not just information on the wider aspects of the eye, but also the central clarity, giving us ortho K capabilities as well. So watch this space. We'll talk about that a bit later. And of course, once you've done the initial fitting, you want to monitor and make assessments going forward to make change, or just to say, brilliant, everything is working exactly as we want it, there are no changes. But then there are modern hybrid lenses, that RGP vision that comes through as a comfortable lens because they're not lid hitting the edge of the lens itself. Now, where does that sit? Well, no surprise, because it's a larger lens, it's sitting on the limbus or the sclera. So we need that information, and we come back to empirical fitting as a capability on virtually every lens, including a hybrid. So giving the laboratory every bit of data that you can is going to make a more successful, cleverer, quicker fit. But who doesn't love a scleral lens? Who doesn't love this hot topic of global clarity, where we are giving people a lens that I learned about 45 years ago, no, 46, 47 years ago at university. And we've had many capabilities to do traditional fitting, and of course, they can be very successful. But modern materials, the clever surface treatment, and this terminology of empirical fitting has made the process a lot more efficient. So the end point of the lens can go direct from devices that give us information to a lens that fits not just cleverly, but like a glove. It is part of that patient. It is exactly how they want the lens to be, almost instantaneously comfortable and non-rotational and perfect fitting. So how? We're on to the H words now. How do we do all of this? How do we fit lenses? Well, we used to do guesswork. We used to take things off the shelf. We used to do trial set fitting. But COVID kind of said, and actually the BSE issues going back many years said, trial set fitting is really not the ideal way to go things. So we look at guided measurements and the full empirical fitting capability. So the guesswork and off the shelf would give us success, but it would give us success probably with more visits, more time spent, and many more challenges of getting it right. And laboratories want us to get it right first time. Why would they want to make 3, 4, 5, 6 lenses when we should be getting it on 1 or 2 at the most? So we look at how topography works. We guide the measurements.
Topography allows every surface to be measured very accurately before and after lens wear.
Every surface. That means the center, the mid-periphery, the limbal area, and it also means the sclera. We are wanting the fullest data set that we can possibly get for every kind of lens we want to fit in. You look at Eef van der Roort's work, and he is saying even soft lenses should be fitted by SAG and full data giving information. How? Well, we have marvelous devices that give us really accurate capabilities on the cornea. And those information points give us immediately capabilities to judge the levels of astigmatism, the level of problem in the eye, how steep things are in the cornea. But it can't go beyond the limbus area. So we need that information. So we have a device that is not far away from me here, that I'm kind of speaking on behalf of this evening, that gives us all of that corneal information. It will give us a spherical cornea. It'll tell us if there's a cone, an inferior PMD, or kind of oblate post-graft or trauma or post-LASIK or whatever it might be. So it gives us an understanding of the cornea. But how could we not want to have a greater understanding of the sclera? And what we find as time goes on, the more we measure the sclera, the more we realize that things are not quite as simple as we thought. The sclera is toric and often not at the same toricity as the cornea. frequently irregular, and there are many nasty little lumps and bumps all over sclerae that are actually going to give us a challenge for an off-the-shelf lens that needs to fit uniformly because it doesn't work. And the beauty of the device I'm talking about is that it puts in perspective how challenging that sclera is. It says immediately by measurement, straight away, really simple, is it spherical? Is it toric? Is it quad? Or is it just bizarrely irregular? Well, we used to think, going back a number of years now, spherical, simple, it's easy. Oh, maybe a few torics. It is rare now that we look at any sclera and there is not a quad specific or irregular shape factor. And we have to deal with that. We have to fit a lens to make that lens comfortable and happy for that patient. And how do we do it? So what do we have to have? Now, to me, we have to have the right attitude. We have to say nothing is going to beat us. We have to have the attitude that everything is possible. We have to be confident for our patients to say, this is going to work. We are going to help you in the shortest time possible for the least expense for their benefits. So we have to have the aptitude to do that. But behind me is an amazing team who have to front of house with the patients. They have to liaise between the complex, worried, depressed often patients that we deal with. And then we have to have the technology and the technicians to work that technology. If you don't have a great team, you will not be as successful a fitter as you could be. And having a clinical tech to do this work for you is just a joy because they do the clever measuring. We just sit there interpreting what's going on to do things. And that technology is that lifeblood, that transition from us as humans into the ether to give us the information that we can then upload to the laboratory, give to our specialist counselors within each of the companies that we deal with. And if we're talking Eaglet, because we kind of haven't mentioned them much, but if we are talking Eaglet here, they've got some of the best professional services guys around, and they will help you transfer your brilliant image, which is easy to take, to that lens and get that first fit if you're not confident in yourselves. So kind of, are there other profilometry devices out there? Well, of course there are. And you have to have one. In this modern world, I believe truly one of these three is best. But let's be honest, I'm talking today about the profilometry device that I work with on a regular basis and have done for many years, the Eaglet Eye. This one here is called Eddie. He's our Eddie the Eagle because he is the person that looks after us and can fly through the air and give us a perfect landing and grounding. So let's hope that technology gets even better. But actually, we don't have to hope because even recently, we've had the inclusion of now Prime. Eaglet software and Eaglet hardware has gone even better, has a complete solution. So it's not just giving a scleral, hybrid, soft lens fitting, it's gone on to Ortho-K to give the corneal factor that we need. So we can continue to make a difference to our patients. And we make them happy. The H for happy is happy people ourselves, happy patients and happy practitioners. So we want to make our patients happy. We want to make our business accountant happy. We want to be happy and go home with that kind of warm glow in our own hearts. And you can make your patients happy. You, that same person I pointed to earlier, you can make your patient happy. And that means you get yourselves happy. That means you go home with that smile on your face. You can make them happy in a way that your efforts show how you've made them. You know, sometimes fitting a lens is like pushing a ball uphill. It sometimes rolls back down and you have to start again. But the more help we get in help making this happen, the more successful and simple it is. You are responsible for changing lives. You're responsible for changing your patients' lives. And you know what? It kind of changes your own life It makes your life easier. So yes, 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 yes. Should you fit specialty lenses in your practice? Well, wherever you are, da, tak, ja, oui, si, all of those things, you should be saying yes to yourself and yes to your patients across the globe. Say yes, because it is the best way to get your specialty lenses. Yes, okay, I admit it. We make patients cry. We give them such beautiful vision sometimes, they cry. Luckily, I'm now wearing scrubs, very nicely branded scrubs, but we wear scrubs. So if they cry on here, doesn't matter, and they do. We used to wear a suit and it used to have tear stains all down there. But you know what? Sometimes with the right patient and the smile you get from that patient, you kind of get the little catch in your throat. You have a tear yourself about how you've done a job that has changed that person's life. Why do we, myself and my brilliant colleagues in the practice, Kaya and Deborah, use Eaglet Eye? Because it makes us smile. We enjoy the whole process of working with Anu, Elena, Renier, and Karen, and the guys in the whole of the Eaglet team. We love it. We like it because it allows us to differentiate. It allows us to be one of the only ones in the UK that have an Eaglet Eye. There are a couple of others coming into the UK now, but we want more because then we become a working family. If you're the only one in your country, Spain, France, wherever it might be, then enjoy that unique selling point because patients come to you because of that. Why? Because it's reducing your chair time, makes your efficiency of prescribing far better. So keep that process going and you don't have to clock watch so much because you're there in place. Why? Because it's educating us about the sclera. We know more than we did 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We know how complex it is and how we need to deal with it. Why? Because, do you know what? It makes specialty lenses fun. Why not have a bit of sparkle in your lives? Looking at a beautiful map and showing that patient, educating them on why their eye is more complex is a beauty. And well, let's be honest, it's making our business better. It makes the fee structure work better. It makes our profit levels go better. And then we can invest in other new technologies and new fun things to do. So it makes our business lives a happier place to be. So Eaglet Eye, I thank you for allowing me to talk to you. I've kind of gone a bit over time, sorry, should have been 15 minutes. But I got involved in it. I couldn't possibly say anything less about how things are. I look forward enormously to the guys who are going to give you clinical, proper optometry thinking. So I've just been a kind of pat on the back kind of guy and saying, look, you should do this. So I thank you for your time. I'll answer questions. I think we're having a live session. And yeah, cheers, everybody. Slanches and cheers and salute and salute and Prost and all those other things. Thank you and good night.